player ever. I mean, he's so solid once he gets a winning position.
But in time trouble, you
Anything
know.
can
Time
happen.
trouble, anything can.
22 seconds for Wesley, right? And 34 for Vidit. So Vidit gained a bit of time.
And
Is he
Wesley,
going?
he's hesitating.
Wait, that's a mistake. Is that
It's a mistake. The bar dropped. We have no clue why.
The engine points out the best move for Vidit is to give a check from F3. But it's not easy to understand what happens once the king moves.
maybe there's knight d4, I think.
Okay, this is very... But it's still hot. You want to displace that white queen from an active square where it defends a lot of important... And with it, he's thinking, he goes
the other
F1.
way. But not the best idea then. Now the bar just simply climbs up. Just don't play king g2, right?
Ooh,
Because
that's a
then
trick. That's a big trick.
King g1 maybe.
That would lose on the spot. Wesley, of course, spots it.
Okay, he goes knight d2 again, and now it's also not easy to play for white here either, no? Because that black king on d1 just feels so uncomfortable.
You
somehow.
had to trade queens at that point.
Yeah.
I mean, why did Wesley not go for that? It just felt like you want to get rid of black's pieces. Is he repeating? He's repeated once.
And Vidit is pretty sure that his move is great. He played it again. And now king moves up.
Knight d2 again. Queen f1 check maybe is the threat, Sagar.
It's in the air.
Could be a queen coming in there. I feel like even though Wesley is winning, with less time and these black pieces so close, it's not easy.
It's actually a bit scary. You know? One wrong move by white and you could also be losing this position because your king is vulnerable, the knight needs to be defended. All of black's pieces have sort of found their way into your camp.
You know, because black king is on d1, you know, Wesley doesn't have those checks anymore.
Yeah.
You know, that he had earlier, I think. So he can't even gain time with that repetition that he was doing a bit earlier. So yeah, looks a bit uncomfortable for
The
both of
irony.
them, actually.
Black's king is safest on the white queen square on d1, the other end of the board.
Yeah, and somehow Vidit is playing quickly, he's gaining time, he's putting Wesley under pressure. I don't know if Wesley can figure out a win here. It's not easy. He's repeating. I guess they are repeating.
What a save! I mean, I have to say, I mean, he's putting up a stellar defense here.
But it's not done. I have a feeling Wesley will find a way to continue, but it's hard to see what move he's about to make because Vidit would be happy to escape with a draw right now if the king comes back.
I had a quick look at the bar and it points out knight to f4.
On the
he
board.
plays it.
Now he's giving up a pawn, queen takes f2.
With a check.
But it's the best move. Insane that Wesley found it. Insane.
But explain that to us, Sahaj. What's going on here?
He gives up the f2 pawn, he takes the h5 pawn, and that way, you know, he can get out of this sort of, his king, white's king is sort of trapped on h2, you know, and once the h5 pawn goes away, the king can also, you know, be a bit more free, and he can also push his own pawn, his own h pawn, and yeah, I think that's basically the
I get
crux.
it. You win the h pawn and you're doing great. But what happens if black continues giving checks and trading that white king? He does it. The queen comes back.
So he's now following your plan, you know, exchange the queens.
Oh, can you go queen? I almost blundered, by the way. I was just about to suggest queen to e2 check. I got very excited about that move.
Oh, it's not working, yeah? G4 is... No, it's not working.
But now what to do as white? Because you lost the key pawn, you're not winning the h5 pawn you wanted. There has to be some move. Wesley goes check on h1.
Oh, maybe he wants to play queen d5. Yeah, queen d5.
But you have a check on f1 and you can force either the queen or the knight to come back to block that check.
I think he's just trying to gain time with these moves, and he moved his king from d1 to c2 just in case there's no repetition. You know, there's no threefold repetition because the king is in a different square. So I think
Very
that's pretty
nicely
smart of
pointed
him.
out.
I think he's just trying to gain time here.
But you also have to make progress.
Guys, if now queen b5,
Yeah.
then could we go queen e2, Tanya's idea? Now that it's gone away.
Now that it's not a blunder anymore.
Yeah, that's why he plays it.
Wow.
I feel better about that
Yeah.
prediction now. I do
Every
feel
blunder
better.
leads to something, you know.
Every great move was a blunder at some point. Queen to e2, offering a queen trade and hitting that h pawn. Actually, that's very deep. he's, with these last few moves, forced Black's king to a less desirable square to get a desirable setup for his own pieces.
Fantastic. And now when the h5 pawn drops, white will be winning. So Vidit is lost.
Oh, he goes into the endgame. Oh, I think we're going to see knight takes h5. Tanya and Sagar bhai. There's knight f4, knight takes h5 coming in. Because no, he's going to go knight e4, knight f6, and I think he's going to take knight h5 and go.
And you think that a knight, let's just, it's happening actually.
We're getting a knight sacrifice.
Analyze that.
Really?
This might happen.
So Sahaj, you are saying that white will give up the knight to push the two pawns. But
Because Black's
That's
king is
super
too far
good.
away. It's too far away. It's
okay,
intuitive.
he's done it.
Go on, do it.
What a
Ah,
call.
he does it.
He's done it.
Wow, Sahaj, you called it from way away. That's amazing.
And if we can get a close-up of the players at this moment, these are the final moments of the game as well. Wesley finding this precise sequence of moves.
And the knight cannot stop those two pawns. It's too tough. Of course, if there were just two pawns, knight could have stopped them, but the white king is also nearby. So this is not happening. And meanwhile, just so that everyone knows that SL Narayanan is winning against Vincent Keimer. We'll go to that game next, but for now, let's finish this. Amazing.
Let's catch the end moments of this game as the black knight does retreat. And now it's time to start marching those pawns up the board. And the biggest problem, if that black king, if Vidit can somehow magically just place it on g8 or h8 and then you're safe.
Dead draw, yes. But you have to be precise, yeah? You have to decide which pawn to push, because one mistake here can turn the position from winning to a draw, just like that.
Wesley's just saying my h pawn will queen, I don't need anything else. Yeah, he's just doing it very, very easily.
Yeah, very clinical. Now the knight has to retreat to stop that h pawn from going one step ahead. And then the g pawn and the king joins the party. If the knight goes back, you can go king to f4 first. Just make sure that the black king doesn't come back.
Shouldering, yeah? King f4. That's the only move I think that wins it. Because otherwise Black's king would have gone to e4, and I think he would have had a fortress there.
Brilliant. And now the g pawn goes forward? Or
Yes.
king goes forward? I mean, there are many ways, I guess, to it.
You can just combine
Yeah.
these two pieces, the king and the pawn, moving ahead, and Vidit's king is helpless right now.
Right. I guess the first win in the open section here coming in for Wesley. So
Actually, the first win is already in.
it's the
SL Narayanan wins his game against Vincent Keimer. We will replay through that once the action's over from round 1. But right now, let's stick to the end of this game. So we've had 2 draws, 1 win, and actually Daniel Dubov, Nadirbek Abdusatrov also ended in a draw. So 2 decisive results, and Wesley's pawns are unstoppable.
Yeah, I think this is over now. Pushes at 7, yeah.
yeah, Vidit resigns there.